Hey guys, it's Vince. Today in this video, I'm going to be addressing some concerns some individuals have had with Pumotix. Now, whether it be questions, whether it be a YouTube comment like we have here, I want to just clear the air. I'm a no BS person. Many of you know that. I will not waste your time. I value your time as much as my own. And therefore, I wanted to address this comment because he covers a lot of interesting points. And again, being I'm the new kid on the block introducing new motion control software, everyone's interested. Everyone kind of draws a blank in certain areas because they feel, oh, this can't be too good to be true, and this, that, and the other thing. Look, I understand completely. And let me say this before I even get involved in commenting on this particular comment. I want you guys to be secure in whatever you purchase. If there's one thing you should figure out by now, I've got over 200 videos in my YouTube channel right now. So if you think about that, out of those 200 videos, basically all I focus on is motion control in terms of the electronics, in terms of grounding, in terms of getting your system stable. That being said, if I'm gone to the extent that I have to do all those videos in the field that I'm working in, okay, just like many of you work in your own field, and I do this full time because you can see when I'm producing this video, when I upload them and whatnot, I want you guys to understand, I don't want you to invest in anything you feel you're risking your well-being in. And when I say that, I cannot emphasize that enough. I get messaged to death from potential clients dealing with a lot of vendors who are shoddy vendors. And when I say that, I say it openly. I've said it openly on my channel. They're popping up all over the place. They're fly-by-nights. I've been online 15 years. I have nothing to hide. My eBay feedback is nothing to hide. Everything I've worked with Army Special Forces. I've got proof of that on my channel. You can see it. I've got proof I've worked with Boeing. I've got proof I've worked with Applied Materials. If this is not enough validation for you, I totally understand it. And guess what? Please go somewhere else. If you're looking for the ultra cheap, please go somewhere else. I'm an engineer. That's what I am, and that's what you pay me as. And I want you to feel confident in who you're purchasing from. I'm a no BS person. I would not spend money myself on anything or anybody or any service if I didn't feel they were competent. Now, that being said, I'm going to call an ace an ace. If you're watching my channel, if you're reviewing the videos and they help you at all, there's a reason. And the reason is because I've put the time in doing what I do, studying my craft to get to the level I am. I don't consider myself an expert, but I do consider myself above average of the novice. And why I say that is I'm working on systems every day, not a specific system, all systems. And when you think about that, your knowledge grows. It's just like every other field. And I think people sometimes misconstrued what they feel they want to project, so to speak, in certain comments because they forget that. They forget maybe this person might have more of a background in this because he's done it so long. They kind of disassociate that with reality of, well, if he's uploaded over 200 videos and he's worked with these companies, I mean, there's got to be something there. I mean, there's got to be something to that. Over 2,000 plus feedback, all 100% positive in eBay, which is the toughest market to be in. There's got to be something there. I mean, that's an awful lot of BS to just BS your way through. So think about that. I really want you guys to think about that. Don't spend a dime with anybody, including myself, if you don't feel confident. If you don't feel confident that you're getting what you pay for, so to speak, then don't do it. And I say it all the time with the online vendors. It happens all the time. So let's address the comment and the elephant in the room because it's brought up in this comment. It's from a guy named Chris S. Don't know who he is. There's no name. Of course, it's completely arbitrary. This whole server dependency is something that's still confusing to many. I feel like you could do a short video that better addresses these concerns. Things like how we can cut offline completely isolated from the internet, and what happens if their servers ever go down or otherwise become unavailable to users, along with a number of valid concerns, of other veiled concerns, excuse me. So let's talk about that for a minute, okay? Chris, or whoever else is feeling this way. First of all, it's server-based software in the fact that it requires the server to be connected to update the software. Once the software, or any software, is installed on your PC, you are using that software, and once the PLCM is licensed and also firmware has been updated to the unit, to the latest version, you do not need to be connected online at all. Where this term server dependency came from is, once again, your interpretation, and this particular user's interpretation. There is no term that I ever said it was dependent. I never said dependent. I said that it's server-based, and what that means is that when you're online, the server is communicating with the PLCM. Now let's clear the air and basis of fact. Okay, fact is, if you use Bobcat, if you use Fusion, if you use Autodesk products, if you use RhinoCam, I can go on and on. Most of these are cloud-based softwares, and that's due to the new technology for multiple reasons. Okay, whether you like it or not, this is where things are going. Now, that being said, these are pieces of software that are CAM related, meaning they're computer-aided manufacturing software, meaning your files that you plan on potentially selling are uploaded online. Now, if they're uploaded online, God only knows who's reviewing them. Motion control software doesn't contain any of your personal files. Nothing. The only thing you're doing is creating your actual file in your CAM software, be it whatever you're using, Fusion or Vectric or whatever it is, and then you're just importing it into Pumotix or Mach 3 or whatever motion control software you're using, and then it interprets that using a post processor, pending you select Pret 1, and it's going to go in there and basically transpire all of that geometry into movements for your motors to cut it out. Okay? And that's essentially what we're doing. So again, I want to make sure we're on the same page. I want to correct any misinformation or assumptions, because we know what assumptions are. Okay? As we continue this, it says, if they ever shut down their servers permanently, would it essentially brick the PLCM PX1 device that we have purchased? Now, again, we're getting into kind of silly talk here. And why I say it's silly talk is, what benefit, and I'm asking this to everybody who would think this, if anybody else thinks this, what benefit would there be if I sold something with 10,000 subscribers that would basically become a brick if the server went down? Number one, there's no software that requires a server to be on in order to use as far as motion control. Once it's downloaded to your system, once again, your license is activated for the PLCM attached to its serial number. All the software is updated, which of course you'd always want to do instinctively, and you'd always want to instinctively update the PLCM's firmware. There's no reason to be online, and I'm going to prove that in this video, but I'm asking this logical question: what benefit would I have in selling something with already the amount of validation that I've created for myself over the years? It would be like putting a gun in my mouth. There's absolutely no point to it. So again, give me a little more credit than that. I feel that that's kind of an insulting question. I mean, why would I sell you something if I know it's going to turn into a brick, as in his term? Doesn't make sense. Constant highlights the available features and basic setup is an informative flex, but they still don't address the scary elephant in the room. Well, hopefully I just did, Chris. Hopefully you're watching this video and I've put your mind at ease. You've always been about educating consumers and providing us with relevant data to make the best decision possible for that of our individual builds. I feel like this should include any pitfalls that come with the very products or software you yourself provide. And absolutely, you're right. And that's exactly why I'm doing this video. So hopefully this, again, is touching base with you. And I really hope it makes you think, Chris, if you're watching, that once again, have a little more faith in me. I'm doing this full time. I'm up at 3 a.m. every morning. Right now, I'm currently doing 8 miles a day of cardio. I weight lift at 6 a.m. in the morning. Most people are going, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because most people are going to work at that time. This is my career. This is what I do. I've worked with Boeing. I've worked with Applied Materials. I've got over 200 plus videos online. You can validate this. You can validate that I have over 2,000 on feedback in eBay, which is the hardest market to be in. If you think about that, it can't be lies. It can't all be, even if you factor in and you say, well, there's so many poor vendors online, and there's, I've been burned many times, and I've heard this so many times. Weigh everything. And I've said this before, weigh it all. Contact me. You don't like me, move on. I totally get it. You don't like my prices, move on. I totally get it. But there's going to come a point when you start realizing, when you do a Google search, when most of my guys find me, that you start asking yourself, can this all be BS? And then they try some of the stuff that I'm highlighting and discussing, and all of a sudden it's not BS. And then I get clients from the Special Forces, or I get clients from, again, military division. This is not BS. This is validatable online. Applied Materials is a Fortune 500 company. One of them. Boeing, a Fortune 500 company. Okay? I don't know what else I can say, and I shouldn't have to at this point. If you feel uncomfortable, or anyone feels uncomfortable, please move on. Otherwise, it's nothing more than a sales pitch, and again, I've pretty much covered that. This can be a substantial investment for a great number of consumers like myself whom are attempting a quality build on an extremely limited budget. Well, I'm going to stop you right there because let me explain what limited budget is. If $260 for a PLCM Ethernet motion controller with Pumotix motion control software is too expensive, this is not the area of genre you should be in. And why I say that is that's one component, really. Because motion control software, what your term you use, I'm going to use your term where you said it was a brick, is basically going to brick your system if you don't have it. So you're either going to buy it with the PLCM or you're going to buy it separately. And anyone who's in motion control will tell you that. If you're going to buy a different controller, whether it be USB, Ethernet, you're going to have to spend either individually or you buy the PLCM where it's accompanying it. And it is the cheapest unit on the market currently right now when you factor in it's inclusive. It's a plug-and-play device. You can do your own due diligence to figure that out. I am wholeheartedly telling you, if this genre, that initial investment of that motion control device is too expensive, I would recommend you save until you can invest in the proper motion control, whatever that may be that pleases you. But I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to be hard-pressed to find an Ethernet motion control device that's going to provide that level of stability with motion control software anywhere at that price. And if that's something you're serious about, I think you should really look at that. I get that a lot from clients. I get a lot of clients that say, you know, I don't want to invest that kind of money. I'm not looking at that kind of money. And there comes a point where we say, well, you have to look at the overall project you're looking at completing. You guys are all creating production robots. Whatever size it may be, it's a production robot. When I hear guys, and I've said this a billion times in my other videos, when I hear guys use the word hobby, I'm just doing it as a side job. That may be. But guess what? When you cut a circle, and I use this example a million times, when you cut a circle, you expect it to be round. And it's no different than somebody running a shop expecting it to be round. So again, there's a disconnect as far as when we talk about investment. If you're looking at this investment and saying, you know what, to invest in a motion controller at this price is high, my suggestion is look at the comparison in the market, because with a comment like that, I already know you really haven't done your research. Because once you do your research, and many guys already have, and they're floored by the fact that this is available at this price, inclusive with free motion control software, you'll see my point. So keep that in mind. I mean, that's something to really, really keep in mind. Educated consumers typically prefer full local control over cloud server-based solutions, as these models aren't typically established to better serve the enthusiast or the consumer. It'd be foolish to dive in without addressing the hard questions as why they built a I believe you mean server-based platform. What are the net negatives, and what are all the consequences of becoming fully dependent on these remote services? Well, I've already covered it. And once again, you can tell here he's kind of going into what he's assuming to be correct instead of messaging me directly once again. And again, I say that all the time. People that typically are ready to purchase are going to message me direct. I get it all day, every day. If you guys have concerns, don't make assumptions. Assumptions usually have a percentage of it that's incorrect. Contact me direct. I'm going to finish the video by showing you the software can be used offline. And on top of that, I want you guys to keep in mind the price. Because when you factor in the price, when you factor in that it has features nothing else on the market currently has, it's hard to argue with. I mean, it's whether or not, you know, I get some guys that turn it into a debate between Russia and the U.S. I'm not doing that. I mean, many of you have been buying from China forever. We have no choice. I look at it as who's the most productive? Who's offering technology at this point that we've not seen that will benefit from? And that's exactly what I'm looking at. And if you think about it in terms of that, many of you have asked for certain features, and this software has it. Not only does it have it, it has it at a price point no one's seen before. Something to think about, something to do your due diligence on. And once again, like I said, if you don't like me, don't like my channel, that's cool. Do your own homework and really, really, really research the details, because it's one thing I get told all the time, and as an engineer, that's what I'm paid to do, is look at the details. The better the details I look at, that's why you're on my channel. There's no reason for you to study my channel if I was making BS up. Okay, you look at the amount of videos I have, you look at the hits on it, you look at just a video, for instance, on soft limits, look at the hits. If I'm just making things up, where did that all come from? Are these people all wrong? It just doesn't make sense. Like I said, ask yourself these questions. You're going to look at it over time, and it'll make sense. And that's why I say contact me. You know, don't sit there and make assumptions. Contact me. Chris, once again, I hope I've answered all your questions. Again, I hope I answered many of your questions. The main thing here is that you understand exactly where we're going with the software. We're right now looking at more and more releases as far as slight changes. The software's only been out for a month, but again, there's always little tweaks that we're looking to add, and we're certainly not going to sit still. I'm up at 3 a.m. every day. I'm usually speaking with Russian engineers every day. If you have any questions that I don't know, and of course I don't know everything, I always ask, and that's what I do, just like I would expect you to do. So again, I hope that this video has been helpful. Now I'll go into the second half of the video where I will cover the unit actually connecting offline, and you can see packet transfers there, and we go through doing a demo file, once again, completely offline. You'll see nothing, no wires connected. I've turned off all my wireless, and you're set to go. So we'll get into that part right now. Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Vince. In this portion of the video, I wanted to demonstrate live that you have full functionality of Pumotix along with the PLCM E1B with a PC offline. Now I'm using a laptop again. I'm using my beta-tested PLCM E1B, and I'm also, you can see here, I'm not connected to anything. And now when I say not connected to anything, you can see the little globe right here on my desktop, and it says no internet access. If I click on this, you can see all the available networks. I'm not connected to any, but to prove that point even more so, you can see it says connect to the internet. I'm going to hit refresh. You're going to see that, again, connect to the internet. I am not connected. You can see we've got a green LED on the PLCM. We also have our yellow LED on the PLCM. The yellow LED is for packet sensing, meaning it's actually sending data. The green LED is for connection. And you'll see that green LED go off once I enter the software. So I'm going to enter the software offline, completely offline. There goes our packet transfer, which once again confirms data is being transferred without this unit being online at all. Okay, so once the software is installed in your system, you're basically set to go, no different than an ESS or basically any other form, or I should say hardware form of motion controller. So I'm just going to select 4-axis. Okay, I've got a sample circle here loaded, and you can see my screen set. Everything is set up. I turn the module off. You can see it's actually off right now. Our packet transition is in full regard. You can see everything here is data driven as far as the information going back and forth. You can also see that the red LED for our e-stop is off, and that's because I didn't turn on the console yet. Once console comes on, the red LED comes on. And if I click start on this to cut this circle, you're going to see that packet do its job, and then we're going to go through, and everything here is going through, and there's your data. The software is fully functional. The big thing you have to realize when I said server base, and again I've covered this again on the previous portion of the video where I'm covering the comment that was left on YouTube, and again I'm getting lots of questions on this. Server-based software means that it's connected for activation and for updating. The PLCM itself will transpire all of the data once it's been updated and firmware has been updated for the unit. The firmware comes out, I would say, almost on a monthly basis with the unit. They're always updating things. So really, you only need to be online to update naturally your software and to update the firmware of the PLCM. Other than that, it's standalone software, naturally, because any software you install, whether it be Mach 3 or any other, or Pumotix, the software itself, once it's installed, that's it. It's on your physical device. Now, of course, and I want to make this explicit, Whenever you actually purchase a software license, it's a license to use the software. You never own anything. We never own anything as consumers. We simply purchase a license so that we are able to utilize the software. But the question that always comes up, or has been coming up, is this software able to be used with it being offline? And it totally is. Matter of fact, if I come over here to configuration, I go to settings, you can see it says controller in use, changes are forbidden. And here's the server that would be connected if we would have went online. But being we're not online, it's irrelevant. So it's telling you right now the controller is in use, changes are forbidden, which I love because a lot of guys may potentially manipulate settings and it can get them in trouble. The software doesn't allow it. So you're all set there. You can see what's going on here and you're good. And once again, I'll run it again here. We'll go home. See our Z-axis going home. We'll hit start. Run the whole program again. You can see everything is fully functional offline. So again, software works perfectly. I'm going to exit out of here. I'll show you the packet light actually stop transitioning data. And you can see exactly what we've got going on. So I really wanted to elaborate, make sure everybody understands it. Once again, just so we know, I'm going to run this one more time. I'll redo this. We'll go home. And I'm going to go on. I'm going to show you I'm still offline because I don't want anyone to think I'm playing games. Hit start. She's machining. And I'm going to click on this, and you can see nothing is going on. I'm still offline, and she's still doing her thing. So, again, the unit is all set. Everything is all set. I cannot elaborate enough that this software, like virtually all software, it can be used once it's installed on your system offline, completely offline. The main thing, again, when I said server-based, because a lot of guys took that into you've got to be connected to the internet or else you'd get nothing. The main thing is that you understand server-based simply means that the server itself will update the software and also update the firmware of the PLCM. Once you have the latest version of Pumotix, and once you have the latest version of the firmware for the PLCM, you're set to go, because once you install your actual user license, it becomes embedded in the software file. So you'll be set with that, and everything becomes active. So again, I'm going to show you now me going outside the software. I'm going to close it. You can see it says close both Pumotix client and server. We're not connected to the internet anyway, so really it's irrelevant. Click OK, and now you're going to see that packet light will go solid. Turned off, and there it goes solid, and you're all set to go. You can see your connect light now is green, and that's because we're outside the software, and the demonstration is concluded that, once again, you can use the software completely offline. And again, you have no fear of a server going down. And believe me, I understand with new software, everyone is on edge. There's going to be a lot of questions, and I expected that. There has been a lot of interest, a lot. And I'm glad for that. I just want to be able to answer everybody's question as explicitly as possible. And I know that, with so many different new items coming out and everybody claiming that this is the best, I don't want anybody to invest in this unless they're serious about understanding what they're purchasing. I've said that from the beginning with my channel, and to be quite honest with you, I have nothing to gain by actually making it to where you would invest in something, me being publicly known, at least in this genre, and just to destroy myself. I mean, I've worked for years to get my business where it is. My name means something to me, and I certainly would never sell anything to anyone I wouldn't want myself. That's why this has taken as long as it has. And anyone that understands software understands a new release of software, which literally came out about a month ago. That's, a really short time to cover as much as I have. I've been working my best to cover all the questions. The main thing is you understand what you're looking at. And for many of you, I think as time goes on and you become more competent in this field in terms of motion control, at looking at what devices are available, this is a fully turnkey Ethernet plug-and-play module that includes the motion control software for less than anything on the market. And when you think about that, not only is it a cost incentive, but it's also running on 12 volts, which no one has. So factor all that in. Do your due diligence. Check it out. I mean, I want you guys to make your investment sound. Ask all the questions you have. If you have direct questions, do yourself and myself a favor. Message me direct at my email, storm2313. I'll cover that at the end of the video as well, storm2313@gmail.com, or through my eBay store, eDealers Direct. You'll see the links for both that actual link to the store and that actual link to my direct email, and I'll answer you direct. If you message me in a comment, it's very hard to go back and forth and try to delegate, answering all the questions and comments, and I've been directing all of my potential clients that way, and it's worked out really well. So again, contact me direct. But again, you can see exactly what you have here. I wanted you guys to see. You can see there's no funny business going on. Nothing's even connected. The unit was actually, this is my beta unit, and this was actually connected just to the laptop itself using the Cat 7. Got the 12-volt power supply. And again, you can see we just have that green LED solid, and we have the yellow packet LED solid. So nothing's going on right now. So thank you all for your support.